Hello everyone and welcome to the Boston Micro Soldering channel. We are going to do a really quick video to cap out the night. Earlier today we had refurbished this console by replacing the HDMI port and also swapping out faulty drive assembly that wouldn't spin up discs. However, this was not a new drive assembly we installed. It was a particularly dirty drive taken out of an old salvage console. And although the drive is functioning well, the donor part is functioning, because the part was dirty, it's having issues with the rollers. So we're going to demonstrate that by trying to insert a disc. And we'll see that it is very difficult to catch. Needs a little bit of help. Give it a little bit of help. Alright, let's try that again. Give it enough momentum, it will make its way in. Now this is really an issue with the rollers. We've already tested this drive tonight and found that it's able to spin up, it's able to read. We had started playing this movie earlier. So I'll give it a second. We do have a disc icon on the screen. And we have a Batman movie. We're in 1080p. And we're playing the film. So no read issue on this drive. It's entirely an issue with the insert. And when we check out here, our eject, barely coming out. Just made it. Alright, so we're going to do basically a very quick cleaning here. Cleaning of our Blu-ray drive rollers. And we're going to get that insert and eject working properly again. Our white light is off, so it is safe to pull the power. Now this console does not have any rear screws. We bought this missing the rear security screws, as well as the warranty stickers are gone. So our bottom housing is just going to slip right off. You will have to do those 4 bottom screws on any other console that you need to clean the disk drive on. So much like with a Blu-ray drive swap, we do not need to bother getting our power supply out. We can essentially go straight to the drive itself, leaving everything else inside the console. But unlike with a disk drive swap, we're going to leave our drive board in place. So normally if you're swapping a faulty drive for a donor drive, you want to make sure that we leave the control board with the original motherboard. In this case, we're going to be able to take the whole assembly out and work on it from the other side. So first things first, let's disconnect Blu-ray data. We have to reach underneath the control board, gripping the Blu-ray drive power cable by the protective tape. We're going to give this a little bit of a wiggle as we gently tug it out. There we go. The very thin needle nose pliers will do this, but also curved tweezers are a very good tool for the job. That's going to expose one of our security bits, one of the fire screws holding in this drive assembly. one in each corner, the torque security bits. And the fifth is just a tiny Phillips screw. We want to lift up our Wi-Fi antenna and just rotate it out of the way. And now with the Wi-Fi cable out, Blu-ray data out, Blu-ray power out, and those 5 screws, we can just lift up and pull the entire drive assembly out. Now, unlike with the assembly swap, we do not need to get any of the small screws out of the top. We're not going to touch this control board. We're just going to flip it over. First things first, make sure that the gears are all rotating fine. If you see any large chunks of dirt, now would be a good time to start cleaning. Being very gentle with any springs. Gentle with the springs, that is. Make sure you get any chunks of dust out of these gears. Okay, so as we've got identical drives between the CUH-1001s and the CUH-1115s, disassembling the drive is going to be identical on the two. If you happen to be watching this video and you have a CUH-1215, well, you'll notice that the screws are in slightly different places when you're taking the assembly out of the console, but it is basically the same steps. You also notice when you flip it over that you have a very similar setup. There are 3 screws holding this bottom gear assembly in place on the CUH-1001s and on the CUH-1115s. If memory serves me correctly, I believe that there are only 2 screws on the 1215s, but they are set up in the corners here with a tab holding the bottom frame on in one of the corners across the 3 models. And of course, if we're talking about a PS4 Slim or a PS4 Pro, it's going to be different again. So once I have those 3 corner screws out, what I'm going to do is lift up on the rear frame with the knowledge that it is being held in by a lip in this bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to tilt up, wiggling a bit, and this corner will release. So once I get that off, it's another good chance to just look inside, clean anything disgusting. In this case, we definitely have some dust bunnies that we couldn't see from the other side. Get a little bit of alcohol in those parts. Being very, very gentle around any springs. A lot of these springs are not available as separate replacement parts. If you lose them or break them, you're going to have to make one, or you're going to have to take it out of another gear assembly. So when we come to any of these dirtier bits, just going to add a little bit of alcohol and scrub it very gently from all sides, using 100% alcohol so that it can evaporate quickly. You can also use tweezers to pick and scrape these little dust bunnies off, but I really like the mechanical toothbrush. And we're not trying to make this look new, we really just want to get the bulk of the material out of here. Primarily, this is a rollers issue that we're trying to solve. We haven't even gotten to the rollers yet. It's just a good idea to clean everything else as we go. And now here we actually get to the felt covering where the disc goes through. And you'll see just how nasty this one is. Much dirt as we can. And blow away any excess dust. Now, don't come into this with the expectation that a little bit of compressed air is going to accomplish this job. Generally, by the time you have an issue where the rollers are not properly grabbing a disc, the inside is going to be completely caked with dust. Compressed air isn't going to cut it by itself. Alright, so let's move on to our drive assembly, the inner part of our drive assembly. Now we're going to be very careful with any alcohol that we use here because we don't want it dripping onto our lenses. See, there's a little bit of dust around, but we're really not going to clean any of the electronics. What we're going to do is take out our rollers, clean and reinsert. So there are three interlocking components that make up the rollers. When a disc comes in, they're normally going to move together. I have a gray roller, our white plastic spacer, the gray roller with its rubberized coating, the solid plastic linkage spacer, and another identical gray rubberized roller. Now these are essentially attached through snaps in two different places. On the extreme right side, the roller is slid into place. We are not going to pull up on this corner. On the extreme left side, the roller is both linked to this white gear. It's also slid through a hole in this black plastic. We do not want to pull up on this corner. However, the rollers do snap into place near the center where this white linkage arm is. So in order to get it out, we're going to go over to one of our rollers. We're going to make sure we get a good pinch and snap it up. Now to our second roller, pinch and snap it up. Now we can take out the right roller first. You may lose your white spacer at that point. Try not to let it fall deeper into the drive assembly. When we take out our left side roller, we want to make sure that the gear doesn't move out of place. We'll let the gear stay there. We're going to slide this out. Just slide it. Now the rest of this assembly is frankly quite disgusting. Let's see how much of this wants to come out on its own. I'm going to make sure we clean as much of this dust out of there so it doesn't just simply recoat the functional components that we're cleaning today. Be very careful with the alcohol here. Careful to keep it away from the laser assembly. Ooh, that's nasty. Alright, so at this point we're still really just following the rule of clean as you go. But we haven't gotten to our main goal yet, which is to get our rollers cleaned. So when you look at these close up, you're always going to have some scratches and scars on the rollers, but the reason they don't grip is just going to come down to this coating of dust. I mean, these should be super smooth. They shouldn't be gritty, powdery, dusty. So there's almost never a need to replace these with new. They really just need a very quick alcohol scrubbing and they will be back to working as good as new. And our linkage arm may be dirty, but as long as the end pieces are not broken, there's no cracks in the plastic, there's no reason why the linkage arm can possibly cause an issue. So one alcohol pad is all it takes to essentially refurbish these. Give it a nice good scrubbing, preferably on a desk that is also clean, on a work surface. You can see just all the dirt and oil that's coming off of these. Nice and shiny. And the other one. Now that linkage arm is never going to be an issue. You can just give it a quick wipe. And now I can reinsert. So we do have to put these in so that our linkage arm lines up inside both rollers and also inside the primary gear for the rollers. So I'll grab our drive assembly again. We are going to first line roller 1, rotate it until the groove can go in. Now at this point, we can snap it in. Linkage arm, rotate it until it slides in. We're going to leave this linkage arm up, go over to the side, and not our narrow end, our fat end is going to slide in. Slide the fat end into the housing, and with both of these held up at a little bit of an angle, we're just going to slide them together and rotate the roller until the two pieces meet. Now we have our left roller snapped into the drive, our right roller is free, and we're just going to give it a pinch. Let's go test this guy out. All right. So our gear mechanism is going to slide in on that corner. The bottom right corner slid in. The 3 screw holes will align, and I can do our top left, top right, and bottom left retaining screw. Now's a good time to make sure the gear mechanism is still working. Smooth and even. And we're ready to flip this over and drop it back into the console. First our 1 small Phillips, then our 4 security Torx, 1 in each corner. Move our Wi-Fi antenna back down and clip it in. Last screw is going to hold the antenna down as well. Now we can start off with Blu-ray power. going to grab Blu-ray power by the tape, needle nose pliers or curved tweezers, and we're just going to try to find the spot where it aligns underneath the Blu-ray board. Oh, I hate doing this every single time. And once you found the spot, just wiggle it. Wiggle it till it's close. As soon as it can hold itself in, you can grab something soft and safe and slowly push it in underneath the board. Plastic spudger does this job well. And we're in. Blu-ray data, of course, far easier. Depress our tab, slide in, and release. All right, and we're ready to test. Same drive assembly, same rollers, far less dust. And we're booting back up. And let's see how we do for insert. Nice solid grip. Make sure our drive is reading. Certainly feels like it's spinning up well. We have a disk icon and we have a movie. We're in 1080p. And we're in our film. So check eject. Fantastic. And there we have it. So in nearly all cases, cleaning the dust out, cleaning the oil off of those rollers is enough to get them working perfectly. Rollers are hard to come by. It's a little bit tricky to find them brand new. A lot of times you're going to end up buying used ones on eBay as it is, or taking them out of donor consoles. So it's really important to learn how to use what you have. And in nearly all cases, cleaning up those two rollers with just one alcohol pad. My very last alcohol pad is enough to get that drive working perfectly again. So hopefully if you encounter this issue, you'll be able to fix it for 10 cents. Thank you for watching and happy repairs.